Warning. Entering the house of high strangeness may result in goosebumps, questioning reality, side effects of paranoia, and crushing amounts of cussing. Viewer discretion is advised. What's up, clan? It's your people, House of High Strangeness podcast. Welcome back.
Home.
Welcome home. I like that. Welcome home.
We are your hosts. I'm Rachel.
I'm Joe. And today, we don't have really a case for you guys. We have Reddit stories.
Woo!
Ta-da! Bringing this one back from season 1. It's some of my favorite podcasts to listen to is Reddit stories. Shout out Creepcast.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Wendigoon and Meat Canyon, best thing ever. Yeah, I think my favorite thing to do at work is listen to tasty stories. It makes the time go by faster and makes me feel like I'm not at work. So hopefully it does the same for you.
Yeah, but sit back, relax, get a warm drink.
Yeah.
We'll have some nice, rainy, spooky music along with this, and enjoy.
Get all snuggly. Should we just crack right into it?
Yeah, I mean, of course, please give us a good rating if you don't mind, and checking us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check out our TikTok and our Instagram. And if you have a story that you made up or a true horror story, please send it to us through our email, houseofhighstrangers@gmail.com, and we will read them for you. Get featured.
Get featured.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to break into these stories. Rachel found these stories today. Let's see here.
We have permission from the authors to read these. I really love the first one. That one really had me looking behind my shoulder.
Yeah.
In my room. I was reading it at 2 a.m.
Swag.
In the dark. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Just read in the dark.
Read spooky Reddit stories off of the r/nosleep.
Yeah.
That? Yeah. And it was in the middle of the night. It was thundering. And so it was really spooky, and I really like this one.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited.
So let's get into it. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. So today I'm going to be reading these. All my sexy little voice.
And I'm just here to enjoy the story with you.
Yeah.
And give my commentary. And I read these stories already. Joe has not read them. So it'll be a shock and a surprise to Joe. Also to me, it's been kind of a minute since I've read these two stories that we'll be reading today.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm just going to be here and listening and giving my 2 cents if need be.
Let's fucking do it. I can't wait. Okay.
Let's enjoy.
Okay, so without further ado, we're going to be reading this. The Rangers warned me not to look at the man in my peripheral vision. I'm a photographer, so I tried to take his picture instead. This was posted by gamalfrank is the handle. It's GAMALFRANK on r/nosleep. Shout out to them. They have some good stories, according to Rachel.
Yeah, please go check them out.
Yeah.
Give them upvotes. If you like this story, read the rest of theirs because they're really cool.
Really cool. I think this was posted, it said 68 days ago.
Yeah, so it's a new one.
Yeah, 2-ish months ago, a little over that. So yeah, without further ado, here we go. The Rangers warned me not to look at the man in my peripheral vision. I'm a photographer, so I tried to take his picture instead. I'm a wildlife photographer. It's a career built on patience, stillness, and the ability to become just another silent, uninteresting part of the landscape. I've spent weeks at a time utterly alone in the vast, remote corners of national forests, My only companions were the whispers of the wind and the patient clicking of my camera shutter. I've waited 14 hours in a cramped blind, motionless, just for a 3-second glimpse of a reclusive pine marten, which I assume is a tree. What else would it be? I said that, which I assume is a tree. That's not in the story. Okay. That's how I thrive on that solitude and how I love the deep, profound quiet of the wild. I always thought it's where I feel most myself. At least it used to be. Now the silence is the most terrifying thing I know, because it's truly never silent. And the solitude is a lie, because I am never, ever truly alone. This all started 3 months ago. I was on a long-term project in a massive, sparsely populated national forest. It's a primeval sort of place, full of ancient Douglas firs that tower like cathedral spires, their tops lost in a perpetual mist. My goal was to capture a portfolio of the elusive Cascade red fox, a beautiful but notoriously shy creature. For the first few weeks, it was business as usual. I'd rise before dawn, hike miles into the backcountry and set up, waiting for the forest to offer up its secrets. One evening, I got the shot I'd been dreaming of, a magnificent male fox. The color of its coat was of a dying fire, paused in a sun-dappling clearing, its head cocked, listening. The light was perfect. The composition was something else. I rattled off a dozen frames, my heart soaring with that pure electric thrill that only photographers know. Back at my base camp that night, I eagerly loaded the photos onto my laptop. I scrolled through, and there it was, the money shot. The fox was perfectly in focus. Its eyes were sharp and intelligent. The background was a beautiful, soft bouquet of green and gold.
Like, imagine if this was your job. Wouldn't that be so amazing?
Yeah, that would be way cool. I can't imagine like just sitting there and like taking the photos. Like just the whole lead up to that moment. You're setting up, you're just in nature all the time. You get to just sit with nature, and the moment just comes to you. Like especially if it's an animal you're taking a picture of, the moment just comes to you.
Yeah.
Like that's beautiful.
All of my mental health issues would just dissipate.
Yeah.
Gone. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Depression. Bye.
No, yeah. I have a very special relationship with solitude myself, so
Bye.
that would be nice. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Perfect.
Okay, sorry.
So you said bye like a lot of times?
I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Go. Go.
That was a gross swallow. I heard that.
Like, okay, I'm sorry.
It was perfect, except for the smudge. In the upper right-hand corner of the frame, there was a strange, vertical blur of white light. It was out of focus, just an artifact, but it was annoying. It looked like lens flare, but the sun was behind me. It made no sense. I checked the other frames. It was there in the exact same spot, in every single one. A persistent, ghostly slash against the otherwise perfect image. I sighed, chalking it up to some weird internal reflection in my lens, and made a mental note to clean all my gear thoroughly. A week later, I was photographing a herd of elk by a river at dawn. Again, a perfect morning. The mist was rising off the water. The great animals were silhouetted against the nascent light. It was a primordial, beautiful scene. I took hundreds of photos. And when I reviewed them later, the smudge was there. Different location, different time of day. Different lens. But the same vertical, out-of-focus slash of white light, always in the upper periphery of the frame. Now, I was more than annoyed. I was obsessed. I thought to myself that it was a consistent technical problem. Something I needed to solve. Was it a scratch on my camera sensor? A flaw in the shutter mechanism? I spent 2 full days troubleshooting, running diagnostics, taking test shots of blank surfaces. I found nothing. My gear was, by all accounts, in perfect working order. The only way to solve it was to recreate the conditions. I went back to the clearing where I had photographed the fox. I set up my camera on the tripod. In the exact same spot, at the exact same time of day, I framed the shot identically. And then, I waited. My goal was to see the flare appear through the viewfinder before I took the picture. I sat there for hours, still as a stone, my eye pressed to the camera. The sun dappling the clearing, a gentle breeze rustling the leaves, the forest was quiet. But as the afternoon wore on, a new feeling began to creep in, a low-grade, primal hum of anxiety. It was the feeling of being watched.
I hate that feeling.
It's a good feeling.
I hate it so much.
It's like hot oatmeal. You know?
It's like hot oatmeal.
Oh, precious gruel. It's a sensation every creature in the wild knows. A prickling at the back of your neck, a sudden cold awareness that you are no longer just an observer, but are also the observed. I slowly, carefully scanned the tree line, my eyes searching for the glint of an eye, the twitch of an ear. I saw nothing. But the feeling grew stronger. It was coming from my side, from the very edge of my vision. I kept my head perfectly still, my breathing slow and even, but my eyes darted to the right. And I saw it, for just a fraction of a second. It was a tall, wavering shape, like a column of heat haze. It was the shape of a man, long and thin, and it was hanging upside down from a thick, high branch of a fir tree. Its form indistinct and shimmering.
So creepy.
Dude.
Like imagine you're just standing here, you're looking out in the woods and you're trying to figure out what's looking at you. In the peripheral, you just see this long,
Like
almost
upside
like
down.
Spider-Man looking like white, skinny man upside down, like looking at you.
When I hear that, I have to imagine like hair coming down from it, because
Oh,
that's what creeps me out the
definitely.
most, is like the hair, like, yeah. If you had,
When
like, long
I
hair.
first read this, I imagined like a bald dude. Like it was just like a silhouette, like a perfect head, and then very thin shoulders that just went down, full up.
Like hanging, I think the hanging upside down part is the worst. It's the
Yeah.
scariest thing.
Me too.
Okay. The moment my brain registered the impossible image, I snapped my head to look directly at it, and there was nothing there. Just the tree branch, empty against the sky. The forest was still. The feeling of being watched was gone. I sat there, my heart hammering against my ribs, my mouth dry. I told myself I was overtired, that the solitude was getting to me. I was seeing things. It was a trick of the light, a figment of a sleep-deprived imagination. I packed up my gear, unnerved, and hiked back to my truck. I needed a break. I needed to see other people. I drove to the nearest ranger station, a rustic little cabin that served as a park's administrative hub. There were 2 rangers on duty, an older grizzled man with a kind, weary face, and a younger woman. I made some small talk, bought a new map I didn't need, and then, trying to sound casual, I asked my question. Hey, this is gonna sound weird.
Hey, this is gonna sound weird.
Hey,
Hey, this is gonna sound weird.
Hey, this is gonna sound weird. Okay, let's lock in. Hey, this is gonna sound weird. I started. But have you guys ever seen strange things out in the deep woods? Like tricks of the light? The older ranger looked up from his paperwork. He and the younger ranger exchanged a look. It was a brief, knowing glance, but it was enough. What kind of tricks of the light are we talking about? He asked, his voice a low, calm rumble. I felt like an idiot, but I pressed on. Like a shape, a tall, shimmering shape of a man, hanging upside down from a tree. You only see it out of the corner of your eye. The younger ranger's friendly expression tightened. The older just sighed a long, tired sound and leaned back in his chair. The upside down man, he said, and it wasn't a question. Yeah, we've seen him, but most of the folks who spend enough time out there have. A wave of cold relief immediately followed by a wave of colder dread washed over me. I wasn't crazy, but that meant the thing was real. What is it? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Don't know, he said, shaking his head. Don't want to know. It's just a feature of the landscape, I guess. A weird, local phenomenon. Like a magnetic anomaly or a patch of strange fog. But what does it do? Nothing, he said, leaning forward and fixing me with a serious, paternal gaze. It does absolutely nothing, as long as you do nothing. too. That's the one and only rule, son. You see him in the corner of your eye? You keep looking straight ahead. You feel him watching you? You pretend you don't. You do not acknowledge him. You do not engage with him. And you sure as hell don't go looking for him. He's a thing you're only supposed to see by accident. You start making it on purpose, and that's when you get into trouble. Trouble? I asked. What kind of trouble? We don't know. The younger ranger chimed in, her voice tense. No one's ever been stupid enough to find out. It's just common knowledge. A professional courtesy among those of us who work out here. You leave him alone, and he leaves you alone. I left the ranger station with my mind reeling. Their warning was stark and absolute, but they had also given me something else, a validation and a name. The Upside Down Man. And the smudge in my photos, it was a vertical shape of light, a shape like a man hanging. It was him. My camera could see him, even when I couldn't.
That's so scary.
Dude, I want to give him a big old kiss. Big old kiss on the ankles. Like times when it wasn't allowed to even see them ankles. You know what I'm saying?
A kiss on the ankles.
A kiss on the ankles. I think that I can't wait to hear about the part where they take a picture. Or I guess they kind of already did take a picture of the Upside Down Man. But I like the name, the Upside Down Man.
Yeah, I like him upside down and around the corner.
Do you think he could go right side up?
Never.
No?
That's not his nature.
Okay. And that's where I made my mistake. My fatal, arrogant mistake. I'm a photographer. My entire life, my entire purpose is to see things and to capture them. To be told that there was something out there, a real, observable phenomenon that I was supposed to ignore. It was anathema to me. It was an irresistible challenge, and the ranger's warning was just a dare. I went back into the woods, but this time I was hunting for him. You're stupid.
Wow, so he doesn't give a fuck.
The thing that's I like is that they're playing this phenomena off of solitude,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing that the Upside Down man went after was his solitude. It was disturbing what he liked about doing that.
Yeah.
You know? And so I wonder if there will be other accounts of what exactly happened, because I know the Rangers wouldn't tell him exactly what happened to other people. They do know of him, but they didn't tell him of any accounts. So it's like, I wonder what happened, you know, if it was like similar stuff. I like that he played with his equipment too. Like it was just like in those certain photos,
Yeah.
you know, like he just does it to piss you off, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like the people who have experienced this before enough that the Rangers know about it.
Yeah, maybe.
They probably have left before it got too bad.
Yeah.
They were too scared. So they probably left.
Yeah,
and
'cause
didn't fuck with it.
Because they said we don't know.
Yeah, and then same with the Rangers as well. I bet they had a few of their own experiences, and it's their job. They have to be there, so there's no rhyme or reason why they should investigate it. They just left it alone.
I'm sure those Rangers get a lot of solitude, and when there's a lot of solitude, it gets destroyed by the Upside Down Man. So, let's keep reading. My entire methodology changed. I'd find a spot and wait, not for an animal to appear, but for that familiar prickling sensation on my skin, the moment I felt it. I wouldn't move my head. I'd keep my eyes locked forward, but I'd raise my camera, aiming the lens not at what I was looking at, but at the periphery, at the space where I felt he was. The first photos were chilling. The vertical smudge just grew. It was a brilliant, searing slash of overexposed white light, sharp and defined. It looked like a wound in the fabric of the photograph, a tear through which a sterile, featureless light was pouring. And with every photo I took, the slash grew wider, brighter, and more aggressive. It was like I was annoying it, and it was screaming back at me through my own camera. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like just getting more clear.
Wow.
I became possessed by it. I stopped eating properly. I barely slept. I was fueled by a manic, obsessive energy. I filled memory card after memory card with these impossible images. The creature was always there, just at the edge of my sight, a shimmering, wavering promise. And I kept shooting, trying to get a clearer image, trying to resolve that blinding white light into a discernible form. This guy really shimmers a lot.
It's like he wants to be seen.
Yeah, like he said shimmer like 4 times, which probably means he's kind of sparkly.
Is that Edward Cullen?
Was that Edward Cullen? Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's
This
just
is-
Edward Cullen looking for his Bella.
Okay,
Looking for his Loca.
we've done a Twilight reference, I think, in every single episode
And
so far.
is there a problem?
There's literally no problem with that, okay? I'm
Okay.
just saying.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
Then my camera died.
Fuck.
That's too bad. I love how you added the k at like like 3 seconds after we were done.
Well, you went like this and I didn't listen.
Okay. I was in a deep, mossy canyon. The feeling of being watched was a palpable, heavy pressure on my right side. I raised my camera, aimed it into the periphery, and pressed the shutter. The resulting image on the small LCD screen was pure, blinding white. A completely blank frame. I tried again. White. I aimed it at my own feet. White. He had broken it. Or more accurately, he had filled it. My camera could now only see the blinding, featureless light of his presence. It was useless. Any sane person would have stopped then. They would have taken the ranger's warning to heart and gotten the hell out of there. But I wasn't sane anymore. My obsession had burned through my reason. The loss of my camera just felt like a challenge, and now I would have to use my own eyes. I continued the hunt. I would walk through the woods until I felt the familiar presence. Then I would stop, and I would try to see him. I'd keep my head pointed forward, but I'd strain my eyes to the side, trying to resolve the shimmering, wavering shape in my peripheral vision. I tried to hold it, to focus on it, to force it into clarity. And that's when the smudge moved from my photos to my own vision. It started as a small, barely noticeable floater in the corner of my right eye, a tiny translucent blur. I assumed it was an eye strain, but it didn't go away. And every time I went on one of my hunts, every time I tried to force my eyes to see the creature directly, the smudge would get a little bigger, a little more opaque. It was turning from a translucent blur to a patch of milky white fog.
He's just like splooging all over his eyes.
Oh my god. Oh. No. That would hurt. I mean,
Edward Cullen, stop.
Edward Cullen, stop.
Aren't you made of ice? Aren't you like always hard?
Oh my god.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
Cement man. The cement upside down man.
No softy for you. That must be uncomfortable.
Yeah, that would suck.
Like I would know.
I bet you break couches left and right because you're so heavy.
Big fatty.
No, just dense.
Okay. Anyway.
I was in the woods, trying to focus on the shimmering shape hanging from a distant branch. And as I strained, I saw the white fog in my own eye physically expand, spreading like a drop of milk in water. And I finally understood. With a clarity so profound and so terrifying it felt like a physical blow, I understood what was happening. It was that he couldn't be seen directly. His very nature was to exist at the edge of perception. And by trying to force him into the center, by trying to capture him, first with my camera and then with my own eyes, I was violating the fundamental rule of his existence. And he was fighting back. He was erasing the part of my vision that I was using to see him. He was a blind spot, a living, predatory blind spot. And he was growing, feeding on my sight. That's cool.
Right?
That's cool. A cryptid that
Is a blind spot.
it just turns you blind.
Well, it's like its whole existence is in the realm of your peripheral. It cannot be focused on. It cannot be studied. It is something that is just in the back that you barely see.
Yeah.
And so when you try to look at it, it completely ruins his existence. He can't exist if you continue to keep trying to look at him. So yeah, of course he's gonna make you blind,
I
so
wonder.
you can't see him anymore.
I wonder if the upside down man knew what he was there for, like what he was trying to photograph, like the fox, the red fox.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if he sent those things to the photographer in order to be able to take over his life, his eyesight, and everything.
Maybe.
The panic that hit me was unlike anything I had ever known. It was the terror of a man realizing the weapon he has been firing is powered by his own blood. I was deep in a remote wilderness, and I was going blind. I ran. It was a clumsy, stumbling, panicked flight. I tripped over roots I couldn't see properly, crashed through branches, and seemed to come out of nowhere. The white fog in the corner of my eye seemed to pulse and swirl with every frantic beat of my heart. I finally made it back to my truck, my body bruised and scratched, my mind a screaming wreck. I drove out of that forest, and I have not been back. That was a month ago. The white patch in my vision hasn't gone away. I've seen 3 different ophthalmologists and a neurologist. They've run every test imaginable. My eyes, they tell me, are perfectly healthy. There is absolutely nothing physically wrong with them. They think I'm having a complex psychological episode brought on by stress and solitude. I knew it wouldn't be that easy. I thought the connection was through the photos. I thought they were the anchor. So last week, I built a bonfire in my backyard. I took every memory card, every hard drive, every single print I had made of the white slashes, and I burned them. I watched until they were nothing but a pile of melted plastic and gray ash. I felt a sense of relief, exorcism, if I may say. It didn't work. He's not just in the forest anymore. He followed me home. He's here with me now as I type this. Not in the room, not in the house. He's in the corner of my eye. I'll be sitting here on my couch, and I'll get the old, familiar, prickling sensation, and I'll know. If I let my focus soften, I can see him, a tall, wavering, upside-down shape, shimmering at the very edge of my vision. Sometimes, when I'm outside, he's hanging from a telephone pole. He's always there, a silent, constant companion.
Constipation.
Okay. You ruined the scariness of that paragraph. Constipation. He's always there, a silent, constant companion. The Rangers were right. The only rule is to ignore him, and now that is my life. I live in a state of constant, vigilant denial. I can never turn my head too quickly. I can never let my eyes wander. I have to consciously, actively not see the thing that is always there, because I know that if I try to look at him, if I give in to that primal urge to face the thing that is watching me, the white fog in my eye will grow, and there's not much of the vision, and there's not much of my vision left to lose. So this is my warning. If you ever find yourself in the deep, quiet places of the world, and you feel a prickling at the back of your neck, and you see something possible, and you see something impossible just at the edge of your sight, for the love of God, pretend you didn't. Look away. Keep looking straight ahead. Some things aren't meant to be seen, and they will take everything from you to make sure you can't.
And that is the end.
That was a pretty good one. I had a hard time reading it, but
Can I read the next one? Not that you're not good.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of bored sitting here and I want to read the next one.
okay. Do you want me to read the quotations?
Sure. So that one was pretty good. Do you have any other thoughts?
I could see it going further, but
Yeah, they should
as
make
a
a
short-
part 2 or something.
I mean, I think that with every single story. I'm like, there could always be more. Like, add to the plot, add. But, that's just me being big and greedy. That just means I really liked it.
Big greedy.
Yeah, big greedy.
Big greedy bitch.
I like that they didn't over-explain the thing, and like it didn't have to be this huge, like, like it was a perfect short story. It's like a perfect creepypasta-esque creature, and almost like a curse or a sickness. Like you could interpret it in so many different ways. But that truly was an amazing story. So thank you again to Gamal Frank.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir or ma'am or in between. Let's go on to that next one.
Okay, so the next story is called Charles Bonet syndrome. This is a story by Mr. underscore stuff on r/nosleep. So thank you so much for letting me read this. And let's begin.
Let's go.
I suffer with a condition called Charles Bonet syndrome, or visual release hallucinations if you want to get more technical.
I think it's Bonet.
Bonet?
I looked it up before this.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was Bonnet. What did I say?
You said Bonet.
Bonet? Bonet syndrome? Okay, whatever. It's a condition that's far more common than you might realize. It's estimated that as many as half of people with gradual loss of vision will experience one or more bouts over their lifetime. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that most of you have never heard of it. The reason for that is because most sufferers are scared to tell anybody what we experience. I know I was. But I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is Andrew and I'm 26. 2 years ago, I woke up with an awful blurred vision. Every single edge and detail clouded as if somebody had smeared Vaseline on a camera lens. It never got better. I was scared then, and got over to Dr. Harper's surgery as fast as I could. Suddenly, needing to take a cab rather than climb in the car I'd driven without incident ever since I bought it 3 years prior. The doctor did some tests, asked me some questions.
Have you been much thirstier lately? How often do you urinate? How would you describe your tiredness levels?
And then gave me the diagnosis that changed my life forever. Diabetes, type 1.
Damn. That
He's
sucks.
26.
Yeah.
He explained that I would need to take insulin shots with every meal, that eating the wrong foods without monitoring my blood sugar could see me drop in a coma, or worse. Then he got to my eyes.
Andrew, your diabetes has resulted in maculopathy. Do you know what that is?
I shook my head dumbly, already reeling with the shock of my diagnosis, and Dr. Harper went on.
It's when the diabetes affects the blood vessels at the back of your eye, blocking them and causing them to leak into the macula, the central part of your retina that helps you to perceive color and fine detail. When these blood vessels leak into the macula, it can cause significant damage.
With a lump in my throat, I asked, "Okay, so how do we make this better?" I couldn't see Harper's face properly when he spoke, but his tone of voice was enough to tell me what I've been dreading.
I'm sorry, Andrew. Perhaps if we'd caught this a little sooner, we might have had some treatment options available to us, but I'm afraid the damage has been pretty extensive. We can take steps to arrest the development of the condition, but I'm afraid it's irreversible.
I felt as if my world had come crashing down around me. I was just 24, still at my physical peak. I was active, playing basketball and cycling a couple of times a week. And now my health, my body, my sight had just been taken from me. The first 6 months were tough. I broke up with my girlfriend, a sweet girl called Holly, who tried to make it work but couldn't because I was so damn angry all the time. I lost my job because if there's one thing an architect needs, it's his eyes. I even fell out with a lot of my friends, making excuses to not meet with them until they stopped asking. In truth, it was jealousy on my part, envy, that they got to keep on living while everything I'd ever hoped for had been snatched away. I became a recluse, never left my apartment, barely bothered to wash, shave, or get dressed each day. I was so sure that my life was over. I stopped even trying to live it. I was an asshole.
Damn. You weren't an asshole. That's just
Giving
tragic.
up.
That's really hard, not having your sight.
No.
You know.
It doesn't mean you should just give up, though.
And those of you that live without sight, I can't believe you fucking do that. You're a trooper.
Are amazing
Trooper.
for that. It took me a long time to realize this, but in the end, it was the nurse assigned to visit me at home, a tall, no-nonsense, experienced woman called Lois. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Lois, who brought this to my attention.
You're an asshole.
She said. What? I gasped, shocked at her language.
So you've got diabetes. Do you know how many people do?
She asked. Then, before waiting for my answer, she continued.
Do you think they all hide in their apartments, refusing to get on with their lives? Losing your vision is a terrible thing. And you do have my sympathy, but Andrew, it's no excuse to give up.
But you don't.
Understand? One of the bravest men I know was paralyzed from the neck down when he was just a child, and he hasn't given up. You do so much more with your life, and you have people that want to help you do that. But you can't even be bothered to shave that ugly fucking beard off. Stop being a crybaby and make a fucking difference.
Period.
Dude, she just got his ass.
Yeah, like fucking
She said, "You're an asshole."
bite him. Of course, it didn't happen overnight. I argued with her. I was furious at her blunt insensitivity and told her to leave. I said I'd tell her supervisors, but she laughed and told me I wouldn't.
You won't because you're a smart guy and you've got too much pride for that. I'll see you next week.
That night, I shaved. I opened my curtains and actually looked around. Things were blurry, but when I really looked, I could see the things scattered around my home. The mess I'd let it become. When Lois came back the following week, the place was tidy. I was clean-shaven, dressed. I'd even attempted to comb my hair. She didn't say anything about it, didn't mention the argument of the week before, but she took me out for coffee down the street. She guided me along the sidewalk to the coffee shop, talking to me, reassuring me. It was daunting even though it was less than a block away, but I felt so proud when I got there. We talked, me and Lois. I think I even laughed. Afterwards, she walked me home. Then, when she helped me back inside, she said,
It's nice to meet you at last, Andrew.
"Aw."
That's nice.
Yeah.
She got him right.
That day was the beginning of my new life. I moved to a new apartment, a ground floor place, and joined a group of the other young people with visual impairments. I made friends. I got out every day, even if it was just a short walk, but I made a point of seeing what I could of the world. I bought what I could, but the Sawyers, the old couple that ran the local store, would bring my groceries by once a week. Clark's a gruff old coot, so he refuses to coddle me, and he's told me that he respects me for being like I am, for maintaining my independence, and for not giving up. From a guy like him, that's one of the sweetest things I've ever heard. Things were going so well, and then, 1 year ago, it all started.
Bruh, I was having such a good time. I'm like, yeah, dude.
I think you're still going to have some fun.
Get back on your shit.
This is going to get good.
It's so I was like, I feel so good right now.
I'm so motivated.
Yeah, like, man, what's my excuse? God damn it.
No, I'm like, I can see. So,
Yeah.
I walked into my living room, a mug of coffee in my hand, and I saw a Victorian funeral carriage stood right there on my rug, complete with two huge proud horses in full livery, adorned with long black plumes in their brittles. They stood perfectly still, while the driver, a small bearded man in a period costume and a top hat, fidgeted with the reins and peered at me unexpectedly. Bizarrely, they were far clearer than the usual blurry shapes that I could see. I damn near pissed my pants. I dropped the cup, spilling scalding hot coffee all over my bare feet, jumping backwards with a cry of pain and alarm. When I returned my attention to the horses and carriage back in the room, they were gone. In the moment, I wondered if I was going mad. Apparently, most of us do, which is understandable. How would you feel if you'd seen that exact same sight in your home? Unless you're Jack the Ripper, I imagine many of you do not have a coach and horses just lying around. I certainly didn't. How do you feel about that, Joe?
That threw me off.
That's kind of weird, huh?
Oh yeah, so there's just like a horse and buggy in my living room.
Yeah, it's like on the rug.
I feel like if I were to go crazy and like were to start seeing shit, like if I had like early onset dementia or something, like that's the kind of stuff that would happen. Like some like banana man, like
Banana man.
Dude, do you remember that story?
No.
I remember before we even started the podcast, we would just do this. We would do a podcast setup in Rachel's living room, and we would just read Reddit stories. And there was one called the Banana Man. Dude, that was such a. We gotta find that one.
Find that one.
Anyways, this is definitely how I'd go crazy. That's for sure. I would just see shit that
You
doesn't
start
make any
seeing
sense.
stuff, yeah. Eventually, after much quiet swearing to myself and more than a little self-delusion, I managed to convince myself that I had not seen what I thought I saw, that it was merely a very vivid daydream. This seemed to work, and I got on with living. Even if I entered the same room a little more cautiously in the days that followed, finally, I forgot about it. 2 weeks later, I saw a giant floating, swirling orange ball in my bathroom.
Yes.
I damn near pissed myself again. I stood staring at it. This bizarre, rotating, levitating globe that was a little larger than a beach ball hanging in mid-air over my tub, open-mouthed for a full 10 seconds before finally screwing my eyelids tightly closed and then whispering to myself, "This isn't there. This isn't there." After 5 seconds, I opened my eyes again, and it wasn't there. That's a fun one.
This is just an LED light we got off of Alibaba.
Just an LED light we got off of Alibaba.
Alibaba.
I love Smiling Friends.
Smiling Friends, you know.
Have you ever had cause to doubt your own sanity? To wonder whether what you perceive is truly there, or if your mind has betrayed you? Honestly, compared to the loss of my vision, the prospect at losing my wits was so much more terrifying. I'd fought against adversity and took pride in the fact that I am not just a survivor. I am somebody who is living his own life. How could I do that if I was insane? I barely slept that night, and I remained jumpy for days afterwards. Any sign of movement or any unfamiliar shape would set my pulse racing and would cause me to doubt whether it was truly there. It was the toughest time I've ever been through, worse even than that time after I was diagnosed with diabetes. At least when Dr. Harper had told me about my diabetes, I had a definitive prognosis. I was given facts by a medical professional. My affliction was physical. It had a name, and it, most important, had a treatment plan. This, though, was something else. My own mind had turned against me. My senses and perception of reality had become twisted and unreliable. It's only when you're in that position that you realize just how terrifying it is. Your senses and the way in which your brain interprets them are your only true defenses against danger. You perceive danger and you avoid it, preventing your body from becoming harmed. But what happens when you can't trust your perception to alert you to dangers that are truly there? Lois picked up the problem first, noticing my skittish manner. She asked what was wrong, if I needed to talk about anything, but I told her no. I was fine, but I hadn't been sleeping well. That last part was true. I hadn't been able to sleep a wink. Just the very thought of being institutionalized or spending the rest of my days a sedated blue pajama-clad zombie in a white room with only the echoing cries of my fellow inmates for company terrified me beyond measure. But what was the alternative? Live life as a risk to myself and others? Ultimately, I chose to ignore it. I reasoned that if I was able to function around other people without them realizing what was going on, that was good enough. A full month passed before the next incident, and I really did think that maybe I'd be able to put this whole mess behind me. With every passing day, my confidence had grown. So that Wednesday morning, I stepped out into the sunny street feeling pretty carefree. Each Wednesday, I'd treat myself to a latte down at Joe's.
Whoa, that's my name.
Joe?
Oh my God, that's my name. My name is Joe.
Oh my God! The same coffee shop that I'd visited with Lois.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I keep wanting to say Louise. It was a custom that gave me a great deal of pleasure, one that had seen me forge friendships with other regulars as well as the staff, including Joe himself.
Including me, myself.
Dude, Joe used to work as a barista.
I did. I was a barista for a long time.
Yeah, it's funny. As I made my way down the street, white stick in hand, I glanced about me, taking in the colors and shapes of the world around me. I enjoyed the feel of the sun on my face and the sounds of the birds singing. It was a good day. Then I saw them. A party of pilgrims, 6 of them, all dressed in settler era attire, sitting cross-legged on the asphalt. They didn't look at me. Instead, they were engaged in a heated yet strangely silent conversation. I froze, staring at them. Still, they argued, gesticulating furiously at one another. However, I couldn't hear their angry voices, despite the fact that judging by their ill temperament, they must be screaming at one another.
Dude, they definitely know about that oatmeal. They definitely know about that gruel. They know exactly where I'm coming from. That gruel is good. Oh my God, that shit is yummy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. They love it. They put like berries and shit in it.
Okay.
Seeds.
Seeds. Pumpkin seeds. Paralyzed by shock, the white stick fell from my numbed fingers, clattering onto the sidewalk. I turned to leave, desperately to flee from the haunting sight of the colonists in the road, but I was so panicked, in such a hurry, that I stepped on my cane. It rolled under my foot, and before I knew it, I pitched over, tumbling to the hard ground below. I didn't quite break my fall in time, banging my cheek hard on the floor and skinning my palms. I heard a cry from a passerby, a friendly, concerned woman who rushed to my side. She knelt beside me, helping me up, applying a Kleenex to my throbbing cheek, which she informed me was now bleeding. I tried to tell her that I was okay. There was nothing to worry about, but this good Samaritan insisted on driving me to Dr. Harper's office to get my injuries looked at. Now I think back to it, I'm pretty sure that she knew my obvious distress was nothing to do with the fall. At the time I was embarrassed and angry, but now I realize I owe her a debt of gratitude. Without her intervention, I don't know how much longer this would have gone on before I cracked up and ended up in an asylum after breaking down their sheer stress.
Andrew, why don't you tell me what happened?
Dr. Harper asked, gently dabbing at my cheek with disinfectant. I explained that I'd just lost my balance, that no harm was done, but I think he saw through my feeble protestations to my underlying agitation. He didn't press, he didn't force the matter. He simply asked what might have caused my clumsiness. Then he asked how I'd been as of late. When I finished mumbling my way through the most non-committal answer I could muster, he placed a gentle, reassuring hand on my shoulder.
Andrew, why don't you tell me what happened?
I burst into tears. I told him how scared I was, how I'd fought so hard for my independence, and now I knew it would be taken away from me. He listened patiently, then asked me to tell him why I would ever think that. I paused then, took a deep breath, and thought about it. This was the point of no return, but really, what other option did I have? So with tears running down my cheeks, I told Dr. Harper everything. I told him about the horse and the carriage and the orange globe and the pilgrims. I told him how okay.
This is good. I like this. Keep it up.
I told him how I'd been living each day in fear, how I was terrified that I was losing my mind. Dr. Harper thought for a while, then he said,
Andrew, I don't think you're losing your mind.
The sense of relief at that moment was so powerful it overwhelmed me, rendering me speechless.
You said that even though you've seen these things, you've never heard any noise from them? Have you detected any odors or experienced any other physical sensation, such as touching them?
I shook my head no, and he patted my shoulder once again.
Andrew, have you heard of the Charles Bonet syndrome?
He asked. Charles Bonet? Who? I asked, confused by this sudden and unexpected turn of conversation.
Okay, let me explain. Charles Bonet was a Swiss naturalist who was born in the 1700s. He discovered a curious condition in his elderly grandfather, who was nearly completely blind due to his cataracts. The old man regularly experienced visual hallucinations, including random patterns and even people and places. Sound familiar?
Yes, I still replied, confused. Am I suffering with dementia?
No, Andrew, not at all. Do you know how perception works? In layman's terms, your eyes take it in light via the iris and pupil, which then process via the retina and translated into electrical signals, which are decoded by the brain, which simply organizes these signals into a recognizable image. With me so far?
I nodded, finally starting to understand.
When the retina becomes damaged, such as those that have undergone macular degeneration, those signals become warped and jumbled. The brain still receives them, so it does its job, translating these distorted signals into an image. It kind of fills in the gaps for you. Sometimes it fills these gaps with colors, patterns, creatures, and places that aren't present. And this is called Charles Bonet syndrome.
I nearly wept with relief. So I'm not mad? I cried.
Not at all. This is an entirely physical condition. Your mind is in full working order. If you were suffering any form of mental illness, your delusions wouldn't be limited to just one sense. You'd hear these interlopers, smell them, even feel them. This is a condition solely related to your eyes, not your brain.
As I left Dr. Harper's office, I felt as if a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. Sure, my vision was still an issue, but now I knew it was only a problem with my eyes and not my mind. I knew I could handle the situation. I was ready to face the world again. Since then, I've seen plenty of weird visions. I saw a huge waterfall in the park, complete with the haze mist and butterflies flitting around it. I saw a Native American warrior, complete with a huge feather headdress, sitting at a stool at the counter in a coffee shop. I saw an intricate and quite impossible structure of a scaffolding crisscrossing the entire front of my apartment block. Hell, on the 4th of July last year, I saw a great swooping green dragon in the sky, twisting and cavorting through the air overhead. All looked utterly and completely real, yet now I knew there were simply tricks of the eye. They were no longer disturbing. In fact, I actually quite enjoyed them, even looking at them as unique and entertaining little shows or works of art that existed purely for pleasure and nobody else's. I came to welcome them. Then a month ago, I saw her.
Let's go. Ooh, that's cool. I like the then it happened. Like this happened twice in the story already. It's
Yeah, I
like,
know.
it's dramatic, but I love the drama. It's good.
It was nighttime. It's always nighttime when I see her. And I was just getting ready for bed.
Oh my god. Yeah. Just the way you read that, I was like, ooh, that's scary.
I walked into the kitchen to get myself a glass of water and actually cried out in alarm when I spotted the figure in the corner.
No.
She was tall, by far the tallest woman I've ever seen, and even though she stood hunched, she still had at least 6 inches on me. I was used to seeing characters in dated and bizarre dress, but this was different somehow. It didn't seem like an outfit from any one time. Instead, a bizarre mishmash of items. She wore a tuxedo jacket, figure hugging in black, tailored to the female body shape, over a dirty old ruffled dress shirt. To complete the ensemble, she wore a bright red bow tie.
So she's a really tall lady
She's like,
that's dressed like Slappy, the ventriloquist
Oh,
doll
yeah.
from Goosebumps.
yeah. On her hands, which she held out to either side as if shrugging, or maybe feeling for rain, she wore dirty white gloves. Her fingers were disproportionately long, almost spidery, and occasionally they twitched as if she longed to grip and squeeze something in them. On her lower half, she wore shorts that same crimson as her bow tie. Over opaque black nylons, her legs were long, lithe, attractive, if the truth be told. The legs of a dancer. Oh, shit! This is gonna become smut.
Smut with my visual hallucinations.
Charles Bonet syndrome.
Mm.
She also wore red heels, same hue as her shorts and bow tie, but they sparkled and shimmered, bringing to mind Judy Garland's ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz.
Okay, sick reference.
As strange as the ensemble was, I couldn't tear my eyes from her face. Most of it was obscured by a jaunty bowler hat. The bowler hat man!
The bowler hat
guy!
man.
The bowler hat guy!
Let's shed some light on the subject. That guy?
Yeah, Meet Robinson's.
What is his name? Goob? Boog?
Goob. I think it was Goob.
I think it's Goob. Rip Goob.
The bowler hat tipped and tilted to hide her eyes and nose, but beneath the brim of her hat I could see the deathly pale skin of her face, and a grin that sent shivers down my spine. It was wide. Too wide, with entirely too many teeth. A smile is meant to be an expression of warmth. It's meant to feel welcoming and benevolent.
I'd feel welcomed.
But the look on this woman's face oozed malice. It felt much like the sort of glee I'd expect from a snake as it corners a rat. However, the thing that startled me most was that she had a third arm sprouting from her back, curled up and over her head like a scorpion's tail. It was longer than any arm should be, and the hand only had 3 fingers, like a claw. It was pointed straight at me, and as I swore in dismay and stumbled sideways, it seemed to track my movement. I stood staring at the creepy figure for a few seconds, trying to get my head around the situation. She just stood there in the corner, grinning back. Finally, I realized that this was just another one of my hallucinations, and I breathed an audible sigh of relief. One of the tricks I've picked up over the months of suffering from Charles Bonet syndrome is to break the line of vision toward whichever stimulus is causing my brain to interpret the image in my hallucination. Think of it like restarting a faulty computer or refreshing the system debugs it. To this end, I close my eyes and count to 5. Then when I reopen them, the hallucination is gone. So as I stared at the horrifying, malformed figure in my kitchen, I knew that to make the image go away, I simply had to close my eyes. I
No.
wouldn't want to close my eyes around this bitch.
No.
No,
No.
never. I'll be honest here. When I counted to 5, I hesitated a little more, opening my eyes. I had opened my eyes and she'd still been there, smiling that wicked smile at me. I think I might have had a heart attack. She wasn't, and I breathed another sigh of relief, fetched my glass of water, and went back to bed. The tall woman haunted my thoughts in the days after I saw her. She was different to the other visions I've had. Somehow she felt more real. It was this agitation that my buddy, Jason, picked up on it when we went for lunch the following Friday. Jason was one of those same friends I'd tried to drive away shortly after I lost my vision, yet he refused to give up on me, continuing to get in touch week after week. Good friends are hard to come by, but great friends, the ones who will be by your side for life, are even rarer. Jason, God bless his kind heart, is one of the latter.
You've got to tell me what's going on, dude.
He said as we sat down over the pizza. What do you mean? I asked, trying to brush it off.
You're so distracted. It's like you're looking for something in here all the time. You've eaten like 1 slice of pizza in the time it's taken to eat like 4. So I repeat, you gotta tell me what's going on.
Jason said, waving a piece of pizza around for emphasis. It's nothing, I replied, feeling a little stupid. I just had a hallucination a couple of nights ago that really got to me.
I thought you were cool with those now?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I was, but this was different, I replied, planning to talk about it. She scared me.
She?
Jason asked, his interest clearly piqued.
Tell me about it.
So I did. I described the tall woman and how she'd appeared to me. I explained that unlike any of the other hallucinations, she felt more real, and that she was the first to feature such a weird and unsettling mutation. Sure, I've seen smaller versions of people in the past, a phenomenon referring to as Lilliputian?
Lilliputian, yeah.
Lilliputian by medical professionals, but the extra appendage and impossibly distorted face were something I had yet to encounter this far. I think it was that, combined with the unnerving expectant stance, that had disturbed me the most.
So? You say she had great legs, huh?
Shut up, you asshole, I laughed, throwing my napkin at him.
No, seriously, I get it, man.
Jason replied, passing the napkin back to me.
If I walked into a room and a giant mutant was waiting for me, it'd scare the shit out of me too. But you know what caused you to see this? It was like the coachman and that waterfall you saw. It's a condition that you know you have, and it's one that you know how to deal with, okay?
I know, I replied. Thanks, man, you're right. I did feel a little better, too, so I smiled at him, took a big bite of my pizza, and changed the subject, asking him about his Psycho X, a conversation he was all too happy to dive into.
Fucking Psycho X, I fucking hate that bitch.
The next time I saw the tall woman, just under a week later, I was brushing my teeth. I was stood at the wash basin, brushing away, when I spotted a figure in the mirror. She was out in the dark hallway, peeking around the door behind me. That same sinister grin I'd seen before, stretching her narrow face into a distorted grimace. The dirty bowler hat pushed down over her eyes once again. Each of those 3 long spidery hands gripped the door frame. As crazy as it sounds, it felt like she was trying to avoid being spotted. I cried out, spitting toothpaste foam all over the mirror, my toothbrush clattering into the basin. I spun around, my heart thumping in my chest, my breathing ragged in my throat. She wasn't there. Of course she wasn't there. The doorway was empty. I tiptoed forward, hesitantly trying to look around the doorframe into the hallway without actually sticking my neck out into its shadowy confines. The seconds ticked by as I drew closer and closer. I couldn't see anything, so finally, with a whisper of self-affirmation, I stepped out of the bathroom. The hallway was empty, as was the rest of my apartment. I was shaken again. This was the first time I've seen a hallucination in a reflection. I wasn't even sure that I'd actually seen it. Now, as I sit here, writing this, knowing what would follow, I think I thought like that to try to protect myself, to shield myself from the truth. I was an idiot. Dude, that's so scary. Like, you're just brushing your teeth, and you already have, like, super, like, bad vision in and of itself. You just like look in the corner of your eye, you just see that fucking thing looking at you.
It would take me a long time to not be paranoid. Like, I don't think that I could ever get to a a, a point in this where I don't feel like something's always like gonna just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, especially if something like creepy, like, because I assume that this is kind of like one of the first like creepy things he's encountered.
Yeah.
You know, and like Andrew mostly has seen just kind of fun stuff or just like abnormal, like the coach in his living room, you know, like that would all be fun stuff. I would have fun with that,
Yeah.
you know, but like once the creepy shit starts to roll in, and I wonder if it like matches with his moods too, where it's like, you know, anxiety gets worse at night, you know, like all of those bad symptoms of mental health get worse at night. And so, you know, it would just be hard to reach that time of day every day,
Yeah.
you know, and like
That's how
know
I
that
feel
there's
too.
creepy shit that's gonna happen to you. Like, I would get used to it after a while, but
And it's like also like turning around and you can't see, like you like smeared Vaseline all over your eyes, you know? It's like you can't see and you turn around and you don't really see it, but you have to
Yeah.
like walk out and check. Like that's
Yeah.
so scary.
Yeah, no thank you.
A full fortnight passed without incident. Sure, I saw a flash of color one day, a dancing yellow lightning bolt that zigzagged back and forth on the street outside my apartment, but that was exactly the sort of thing I'd come to expect from my condition. It was exciting, otherworldly, but it wasn't scary, not like she was. In retrospect, that fortnight was blissful. It was a reminder of what life could be like, the existence that I'd carved out for myself since my diagnosis. Life was good.
The other thought that would haunt me the most is, you know, yeah, oh, it's only, you know, visual hallucinations, like you
Yeah.
haven't smelled or like felt anything, you know, or like you haven't really heard anything. But dude, it would be like, but when will it get there? That's the thing that would always be on my brain. It's
Yeah,
like,
like,
when's it gonna get there?
when's
Like
it- Yeah.
if I see her and then I like am just ignoring her and then I feel like a touch on my shoulder or something, I'd be like, oh fuck, I'm so fucked. I'm so fucked because it's anything I felt better about just because it was a visual hallucination. Now it's touching me, you know, or now I smell something, or now she's talking to me.
Yeah, it's like
So I wonder if it's gonna get to that point.
yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
That night, life changed the way I viewed the tall woman. Last night, I'd been out and had a couple of drinks. I'd met the other guys with visual impairment for dinner, and we'd ended up at a bar afterwards. I wasn't hammered, but we got through plenty of beer between us, and by the time I stepped out into the cool night air, I felt decidedly lightheaded. It took me a while to make it home, laughing and talking to a couple of the other guys from our group as we strolled along. It had been a great evening. It's probably the last truly good one I'd ever have.
here we go.
No. I bid the other guys goodnight and, fumbling with my key, let myself in. With swaying steps, I strolled into my hallway, slamming the door a little too loud behind me. I took off my jacket, hung it on the hook by the door, then hit the light switch. She was waiting at the end of the hallway, all three hands held aloft into claws, reaching for me. That same maddening, malevolent grin on her pale face. I swore again. Fuck! Louder than ever. You
that-
laughing made me jump.
That was really that was a really good fuck. I liked that. That was good.
Thank you. I lost my spot for sure though.
Imagine saying that after a date. That was a really good fuck. Thank you.
That was a that was a really good fuck. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Actually jumping back a step, recoiling from the impossibly tall and terrifying figure lying in wait in my own home. The tall woman didn't move. She just stood there, staring and smiling at me. I stared back, but I sure as hell didn't smile. Jesus Christ, I muttered under my breath. You know how you can feel a little paranoid after a few beers? That feeling of non-specific post-alcohol dread?
No.
Imagine that combined with a giant grinning mutant woman suddenly appearing in your home. Suffice it to say, it was very, very uncool. I don't need this, I sighed and closed my eyes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
When I opened my eyes, her face was just a foot from my own, grinning wider than ever. She dashed the length of the hallway and was now standing So close that her long, grasping arms on either side of me, her fingers twitching and clawing at the air around my face. I could see her chest heaving as if she were actually laughing silently at my attempts to dismiss her, as if the thought that I could ever be free of her was amusing. I screamed, "Ah!" A full-bodied shriek of terror and actually dropping to my knees, covering my head as if to fend off any unexpected blow, but it never came. Finally, I lowered my hands, gasping for breath, shaking. The hallway was empty. The tall woman nowhere to be seen. I stayed there on my knees for a moment, gasping for breath. Then I was on my feet and I turned and ran out of the apartment, out of the building, and onto the street. I stood there shivering, terrified beyond reason, without a clue as to what I'd do next. I finally pulled my phone from my pocket and I made a phone call.
Hey, Andy, what's up?
Jason asked. "Jason, I need you to come here," I said, sobbing. Jason didn't ask why. He didn't complain. Instead, he simply replied,
I'm on my way.
Less than 20 minutes later, his car pulled up outside, and he dashed over to the steps outside my building where I was sitting, shivering. He threw his jacket around my shoulders and asked what happened, his voice filled with concern. One second here. I have a little crush on Jason.
Yeah, me too.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's just there. He's supportive. He always knows the right thing to say. He's a very comforting individual. I like him.
Me too.
I like him.
I want him.
You can have him.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna take this lady. I'm gonna take this creepy lady. Freak me out in the middle of the night, please.
Yeah, be a freak.
Yeah, be a freak.
She's in there, I stammered. The tall woman, she's back,
Okay.
he said, gently helping me to my feet.
Come on, man. Let's go in there and check it out.
I wish I could say that I was brave when we went inside, but I'd be lying. I cowered behind Jason, one hand on his shoulder as we made our way through my home.
Oh my God.
Of course, his shoulders?
Mhm.
Dude. Of course we didn't find a thing. We're talking a giant mutant woman in a pokey little one-bedroom apartment. Where the hell was she go to hide? Finally, after we'd checked every single room twice, I had to admit that she was gone. I'm so sorry, man. I apologize, feeling genuinely stupid. I got scared and I'm sorry, man.
Hey, forget about it, buddy. So I'm here now. Where do you keep your booze? Okay. What's gonna happen? Hey, man, Andrew, the way you grabbed my shoulder earlier, I really like protecting you, buddy. And as much as I want to keep calling you buddy, let's just drink more booze, okay? I think you know where this is going.
Half a bottle of bourbon later, we were both feeling pretty talkative. She's, just kind of different, I tried to explain.
I get it. It's like you saw something bad and you feel bad, and that's bad.
He didn't get it. No, I mean, she's different. I explained. I've never had a repeat hallucination before, and they've never been scary, She's just not like the others.
Dude, you got Charlie Bonnie syndrome, and that makes you see shit, so.
He waved his hands in the air like a magician who'd just performed a magic trick. I know, I replied.
No, listen, Andy. It makes you see shit. It's just your eyes, yeah? You didn't hear anything. You didn't feel anything. This is how that stuff goes. It's your eyes. And I know it's scary, man, but you've been through, hell and high water in your life so far. You're tough. You're one of the toughest, bravest guys I know. And you can handle some creepy hallucination, bitch.
I laughed. Couldn't help it. She is a very creepy hallucination bitch, though, dude. He laughed too, and we both took a drink.
That could help.
He said finally, his voice thoughtful. What, drinking, I asked? No, anal.
No. Well, yes, it does. I mean, demystifying her. You should give her a name. Something stupid. So she's not so scary.
I've got to say that as much as I like creepy hallucination bitch, that's a bit of a mouthful. I laughed.
Yeah, I get that.
Suddenly, something he'd said came back to me. How about Helen? I suggested. Helen Highwater.
Awesome. Here's to Helen, buddy.
To Helen, I smiled and drained my glass. Jason spent the night on my sofa, mainly because he'd had too much to drink to even think about getting behind the wheel of a vehicle. But honestly, I think the reason he drank so much was so he'd have an excuse to stay and keep an eye on me.
Oh my God, Jason! You don't drink and drive, and you stay
dirty
to
dog.
check in on your little buddy. Okay.
I'm glad he did. Knowing that he was there made me feel safer, and I was able to get some sleep.
God, make it happen, y'all.
It gave me a sense of security to know that if the strange vision I just christened Helen was to appear again, I'd be able to call on him for support. This morning, we both needed support.
A good old morning fucking. Oh shit. Sorry. That's not what he said in the story. That was yeah, okay. That was my hormone monster. It feels like a mule feels like a mule kicked me in the head.
He groaned when I made my way into the living room. Yep, I replied, my own head thumping. Thumping.
Which head are you talking about? Someone's thumping a head? What?
Ah! Joe's?
Joe's.
He replied firmly and staggered to his feet. As we drank strong black coffee and ate muffins, we didn't talk much. Finally, Jason broke the silence.
So, you feel cool now?
He asked, his mouth still full of blueberry muffin. I nodded. Yeah, I think so.
Not still freaked out about you-know-who?
Helen? No, I really don't think I am. I reckon I can handle some creepy hallucination, bitch.
Good.
Giving me a hearty pat on the back.
That's cool, man. I bet you can.
Now, after a night spent cowering in my bathroom, too scared to go out into my apartment, I know we were both wrong about everything. Remember how earlier I told you that the thought of being institutionalized, that the very idea of losing my grasp on reality was the most terrifying thing I could imagine? Now I'd welcome that, because the alternative is far, far worse.
That's what you get.
After breakfast, I said goodbye to Jason and he climbed into his car and drove away. The day passed without incident, and when Lois stopped by this afternoon, she even commented on how beat I seemed.
You got a lady in your life?
She asked casually. I laughed at that, wondering what she'd think if she knew the truth. Yeah, I chuckled. Something like that.
Good for you. You make sure you treat her right.
That tickled me even more, and I had to bite my lip. Sure. I'll do my best.
Sure. I'll do my best. Oh,
Tonight?
I just popped my arm. Did you hear that? Holy shit.
Tonight, still a little wiped from the exertions of the previous evening, I decided to turn in early. I brushed my teeth, washed my hands and face, and got changed. Finally, I fetched a glass of water and walked into my bedroom. I climbed into bed and instantly felt so relaxed. Within mere seconds, I was ready for sleep, but that sudden, overwhelming drowsiness that comes when you've spent a whole day keeping sleep at bay. I decided that resistance was futile and sat up to switch off the light. I nearly didn't see her, but as I reached for the switch, I caught a glimpse of something out of the corner of my eye. My heart leapt into my throat as I turned to the foot of my bed. The tall woman was crouching there, her grinning face staring at me from just beyond my feet. So many teeth. Her long, slender fingers spreading out over my blankets, twitching slightly as she gripped the end of my bed. Slowly, excruciatingly so, her third misshapen arm came into view over her shoulder, joining her other hands on the bedding. I froze, utterly petrified. I was at a crossroads here, arriving at a pivotal moment that had been coming for some time. She watched me, grinning, as if she was waiting to see what I'd do, cruel amusement flickering across her pale face. This time I had enough. You don't scare me anymore, I said, my voice filled with defiance and anger. I'm not letting you do this to me. I reached across the light switch. Good night, Helen, I said triumphantly, then flicked it,
Yeah.
plunging the room into darkness. I laid there, a sense of tremendous pride surging through me, and I grinned to myself in my warm, comfortable bed, overjoyed at the emotional victory of overcoming my own fear. And then it happened. The thing that led me here. Something that turned my blood to ice water, my bowels to jelly.
Good night, Andrew.
A rasping voice hissed from the dark.
Dude, I fucking called it. He heard her, which is not part of the hallucination.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a hallucination, it's a fucking freak.
Yeah.
That means you could probably do unspeakable things with lovely old Helen. She probably is a Hellion.
And that's the end of the story
Let's
of Charles Bonet syndrome.
Go. Well, that was fucking good. Those are really good stories, dude.
Thank you.
That was like,
I loved these.
I mean, that was a pretty decent long episode.
Not that I wrote them. Like,
should we try another one? Should we?
No, I'm too tired.
Are you too tired?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next time. Then.
Okay, well, that's it for our stories this week, for our episode this week. Guys, listener lore, send us more stuff. I know we have one entry that we may have to tag on to this episode, and we appreciate you, mystery person that is soon to be revealed. But please send us more, because it would turn out just as good as these stories.
It
maybe
would be
even
fun
better.
to do like a weekly segment of it. You know, like
Yeah.
you get your normal episode of the week, but then maybe if you want more content, send those in, and then maybe we could do 2 episodes a week. I don't know if we have.
No. I think that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, or
we can
like
do that.
one week a month or something. You get 2 episodes and we'll do listener lore or something.
Yes,
But
most definitely. If
it would be extra
it's
more than.
It's your reward. If you guys send in stories enough for us to cover an extra episode that week, we will do an extra episode that week. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah,
How do you feel about that?
that sounds great.
All right. We've agreed on it.
Cool.
Even if you don't think that the story is going to be good enough, or maybe it's not the craziest experience ever or whatever, I still want to hear about it. I don't care. I'm still going to hear about it. If you don't want it on the episode, fine. We still want to hear about it.
I still want to hear from you.
Yeah. At this point, I'm desperate.
I love you.
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 So, before I give you your keys, just make sure that you walk home, you drive home, you teleport, you beam home safely. We will welcome you gladly next Monday. And thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the House of High Strangeness podcast. Goodbye.
I love you. Bye.
Bye.